My name is TG Trooper, and with me today is my friend Mark Butterworth, who is going to be talking about his latest book, Ready Money Cove, which is an actual place in Cornwall. So, Mark, what led you to become an author?
What led me to become an author? Well, I've always been very keen on reading, back to childhood and so on. My working life as a career was in the City of London. I worked in insurance, and I used to write reports and such, and then articles for journals. You become known, and journalists approach you for opinions and written pieces. And then about 10 years ago, I was approached to write a book, a business book on risk management, actually. And I was commissioned to write the book, so it meant that I was given details, the contents page, if you will, and the editor to work with, 6 months to do the job, off you go. So through that route, I found that I learned something about myself, the self-discipline of writing a book over something like 6 months, being diligent in your work, working with the industry, if you like, the publishing industry. But I also found that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process. And even in a business book, you still tell a story. Yeah. You build your case, one chapter to the next. So then, just about the time of COVID, actually, I thought I would carve out time to write my first book, this so-called one that we all have within us, and set to it and used some of the techniques that I adopted from writing the business book. So seriously writing fiction about 4 years, to answer your question. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you organise your time as a writer?
Yeah, well, I think I still maintain some of those things that I use in my business life. So I treat it as a job. I treat myself as a professional writer. So Monday mornings, every Monday's a working day. So Monday mornings I start off with a plan for the week in my notebook. That might be a word count, what research I might have to do, any ideas and jottings and so on to build the plan for the week. And then on Friday mornings, actually, I'm a member of an online writers group. And so we meet Friday mornings and we talk about what we're working on, and we do some actual work. And so really they bookend the Monday morning and the Friday, the beginning and the end of my working week.
Okay.
Now, I don't work every day. So if I put all the parts of the week together, probably 3 full days a week I work. And I think the expression I heard from somebody else was that when you decided you're going to work on your book, is to guard that time, guard it like it was really precious to you. And I believe that's true, and it really works for me.
Oh, cool. Right, what genres do you write?
Yeah, I mainly write historical fiction. So the Ready Money Cove that you showed at the beginning of this discussion is the third of a series, so-called the Adam Devon series. They're freestanding stories, and the first book, which actually I have a copy here, is called the Pearl River. Set in the late 1940s. And the Pearl River is in Hong Kong. So each of my books, by the way, names a place, and it's the sense of place is just as important as the characters for me. And then we go into the 1950s for the Berlin Assignment, which is a Cold War thriller a la John le Carré kind of style, if I can name a name. That's great fun to write. And then, as we mentioned, Ready Money Cove. So yes, historical fiction, those events, the backdrop of true events, and then the characters and the plot is developed by me. I have actually written a modern romance as well, and I have a copy here, The Fry's Affair, which is a love story based on the island of Antigua in the West Indies. Slightly different name, that one, not Mark Butterworth, but MC Butterworth. But historical fiction is my main reading interest and my main writing interest.
Okay, so bearing that in mind, do you think your historical elements should be strictly accurate, or do you bend them a little bit to fit the story?
I like to think that they are strictly accurate. Right. I go to a lot of trouble with my research. And these days, of course, with the internet, it's quite easy to look up. So, for example, the Pearl River, set in Hong Kong in the late 1947, 48, you're able to look up the internet. The South China Morning Post, you can get newspaper from the day that you're interested in. And as far as newspaper reports are concerned, of course, is getting the facts right. Museums I go to, British Museum, the RAF Hendon Museum there, they've been tremendously helpful, and so on. So I like to keep it as accurate as possible. Now, if there's an Oxford scholar reading my books and he spots something that's not quite right, then please forgive me.
Okay, yes, I can well imagine something wasn't exactly like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, quite.
So your latest novel, Ready Money Cove, how long did that take you to write?
From the very page one to a good draft to go to the publisher, about 9 months. So it's about 6 months to write the story, and 3 months of editing, refining, ultimately proofreading as well.
Yeah.
So about 9 months to write a book.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
Do you have a current project?
Yes, I do. Yeah. In fact, I'm just coming to the end of maybe 7 months of the first draft, and it's still historical fiction, but it's not the next of the Adam Devon series. Okay. It's a freestanding story, and you'll know Poldark, of course, from the books and television. The Poldark series. Well, it's set in the Poldark era. It's the year is 1795. And it's the story of a stagecoach going from London to Truro in Cornwall. So this is all very true. They used to take 6 or 7 days to get from London to Truro. So there would be passengers inside the stagecoach, those people in the cheap seats to sit on the outside, all the way to Cornwall, and the driver and the guard and the highwayman and all these things and the coaching inns. So it's a story about why would these people want to go to Truro or Cornwall? Have they been before? What are the issues? The backdrop to some of the highwaymen. It's not just stand and deliver and give us your jewels and those sorts of things. There's a bit more subtlety than that. So it's a great project. I've really enjoyed it. And talking of research, I've either visited or stayed at all of the coaching inns, except for 2 which were invented, but all the coaching inns along the route. Again, by good research, even though it was 1795, you can find the routes that these stagecoaches took and the places where they would change horses and so on. So it's been great fun to write a book.
Okay, what do you most like about being a writer?
What I most like. I mentioned the sense of place in my books. Again, this stagecoach story is called The Truro Bound Coach and Four. So again, Truro is named in there. Very strong sense of place. But I think the building of the characters is such fun. Getting to know them, anticipating their moves, asking yourself, would Henry have done that?
Yeah.
Like as a real person? Because of course it is in your mind.
Yeah.
Would Hannah like to do this? Is that typical of Adam? And so on. And after 3 and soon be 4 outings of the Adam Devon series, you can really explore those characters. That's what I enjoy most about writing.
Okay. What do you dislike about being a writer? And don't say marketing, because that's what everybody does.
Well, yeah, actually, when I got into going back to those business books, that there were 2, by the way. I didn't mention it. There were 2, I was commissioned to write a second one. There were 2 business books. I suppose I had the luxury of just completing the manuscript, doing the editing, and handing it over to the publisher because I was commissioned to write them, and I was paid to do the job. All well and good. Now, writing novels, we get to understand the whole industry, the production process, and the competition for books and so on. So I suppose the most difficult thing to live with is the apparent lack of audience in the trade, in the literary agents and the publishers, who seem to have a rather myopic view, in my view, of concentrating on celebrity books and novels and so on. There's the new ones out today. and perhaps not giving sufficient voice to the wealth of literary skills and talent we have in this country.
Yeah, because you don't even have to be a nice person anymore to be a celebrity.
No, you don't. No. Yeah, it can be any kind of celebrity. You could have driven cars on BBC Two programs, or you could be a newsreader, and so on. And now all of a sudden you're a great crime writer. Well, good. There's some good stuff out there. I'm not saying it's not, but I think that the celeb issues that are spread, that we get in television so much, have come into the publishing industry, and I think it's not that this might not be quite answering a question. There's nothing I dislike about actually writing the books, but the industry that we're in is a tough one to, be heard and considered properly.
I think with the celebrity thing, I don't think I'm not so much bitter about that, because we would all do it if it It is a level playing field, please.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. When you approach a literary agent, they may ask to say the first 3 chapters or the first 5,000 words and so on. And I'm resisting the temptation to actually write 5,000 words to capture their attention, and then who cares about the rest of it? Yeah. I don't like that. And in fact, the book reviews and the feedback from my readers say they love the way the plot thickens, the development, the way new characters are brought in. Well, that doesn't happen until the word 10,000 or 15,000. Yeah. So I don't want to play games. I want to write good books that people enjoy writing. And hey, look, maybe somebody from the Sunday Times or the New York Times will pick it up and say, hey, that's great. Well, come in, Mark, and come and talk to us.
Make a film of it.
Yeah, make a film of it. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
So, where can people buy your books?
Well, all bookshops. I live here in Essex, and I have a great relationship with Waterstones in Chelmsford, but there are other independent bookshops around. And also these days with that big company, begin with A.
That river in South America.
That's that river in South America, absolutely. Yes, naturally you have to be with them. Hard copy and ebooks. All my ebooks are available there, and with Apple Books as well. Let's name a different A here. Through all the conventional routes, they're available. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And that is Ready Money Cove and Others by Mark Butterworth, and thank you very much.
Great, well thank you, Peter. That's been great. Thank you.